there, and welcome to episode 4 of Just Ask Kathleen. I hope this new year brings you lots of health, peace and happiness. Yeah, 2018 is going to be a good year, I reckon. Okay, so this first email has been sent in by a lady I'm going to call Jackie. I work in a shared open office, and one of my colleagues, who I really like, plugs in one of those air fresheners near her desk. It gives me such a headache, and there's none of the scents that don't leave me with a thumping sore head. I don't want to fall out with her, and no one else seems to mind. At least no one else has said anything. Well, first of all, just because no one said anything doesn't mean it's not bothering them too. You've not said anything yet, and it is bothering you, so I would say you're probably not alone. In fact, with all the emails that I get in from people wanting a bit of advice and support, I think it's really useful to remind ourselves that when one person asks a question, it often helps numerous other people who have a similar situation going on. So in this case, Jackie, you're going to have a conversation with the colleague, and you say you like her, you get on well with her, so I would suggest saying to her, can I have 5 minutes with you, just to have a chat privately. You don't want to do it in front of everybody. It can be awkward for her and it can be awkward for you too. So just take her to one side and explain that you really appreciate she likes these scented plug-in things, and that normally you wouldn't say anything and you would just put up with it, but it's causing you to have a headache at work, it's causing your quality of life at work to be affected, and you wonder if she would mind just not using them. I'm also a little bit surprised that within a shared office environment there's not some kind of rule about that sort of thing, because you wouldn't allow somebody to sit and smoke their vape thing. Is that what you call it? You know what I mean? Or a cigarette. Well, they're allowed to smoke in buildings anyway now, but it seems like a really obvious situation where something that's going to affect people in the whole room, it really shouldn't be allowed. But of course you want to go gently with somebody you work with. This is somebody you get on well with, so just politely asking her if she can stop using them because it gives you such a headache, and you're sorry you should have brought it up earlier, but you've just not been feeling confident enough to broach the subject. Really important that you clear this up, because actually your quality of life is being affected, and that's not okay. You're going into work to do your job, and if you're going in knowing you're going to have a headache because of these scented plug-ins, hopeless. So please do speak up. And if things go a bit sour with your colleague, then you may have to just go to your office manager or your line manager and have a conversation with her about what the policy is about these things. This is affecting your ability to concentrate at work. You have a thumping headache. I'm sure other people feel the same way. I'm sure across the board the whole office isn't absolutely fine with this scent being pumped around the whole office space. So just you stand your ground, say what you need to say, and hopefully your friend and colleague will understand completely and stop using it. All the best with that, Jackie. Okay, this lady I am going to call Margaret. Thank you for writing in. I fell out with my late husband's brother a few years ago. It was over something silly, and I do regret that we've lost touch. I heard recently that he's not been well, but apparently he's made a good recovery. I want to speak to him, but I don't know what to say or where to start. Can you help? Well, yes, Margaret, this is really a time for that template again. So I don't know how you feel about phoning him up and having a conversation on the phone, or if you want to write a letter or an email. But again, I'm going to encourage you to use that template with the positive beginning, the event you want to speak about, the feelings you have about that event, what you need or what you'd prefer to happen now, and then the positive ending. And sometimes an illness and something awful happening does give us the shake, the wake-up call that makes us realise life is too short to have any of these sort of regrets that can be remedied or reversed. So I would suggest, if you're happy picking up the phone, sit comfortably first. Get yourself into a position where you know what you want him to hear from you. You know what you want to say. Have that template written down somewhere. Even fill it out if it feels easier. You don't want it to be too contrived when you speak to him, but if it gives you more confidence so that you're aware of what you actually want to say in the conversation, then by all means do that. So you start off with a positive. So you're doing this on the phone perhaps. So you ring the phone, he answers. Oh, hi, I'm so glad I've caught you and that you've answered the phone. That's enough of a positive opening. I heard recently that you hadn't been well, and it made me think about the fact that we'd fallen out all those years ago. That made me feel really sad and full of regret for falling out over something so trivial. So you're referring now to the feelings. What I need, what I prefer, what I'd like to do, what I need to happen now is for you and I to take steps to get back in touch and to see each other again, because I really don't want to continue my life without you being part of it. I hope you feel the same way. Do you fancy meeting up tomorrow for a coffee? Ending on a positive like that. So the positive end about meeting up, you're allowing yourself time to really fully articulate what you feel, sadness wise, regret wise. And when we deliver something in that way, we're doing it with feeling, we're doing it from our heart, and it's more likely to be received that way rather than up in head mind. Well, you did this and I did that and you did this. Oh, it's so pointless. So really be grounded, be clear, and do it with feeling, okay? And I'm pretty sure, Margaret, he'll be delighted to hear from you, and bridges will be built, because it sounds like you just want to open up your heart again and just be back in touch with him, which is lovely. So all the best with that, Margaret. I hope it all goes well. Okay, this last one was entitled My Best Friend's Friend, and I'm going to call this lady Joan. Hi Kathleen, my best friend has invited me to be her bridesmaid, which I'm really pleased about. Hold that thought. The annoying thing is that the other bridesmaid is an old school friend of hers that I've met a few times, and I can't stand her. She's really annoying in every way. And I know I'm going to have to be involved in being around her while we organise the hen party, get the bridesmaids' dresses, etc, etc. And of course on the wedding day too. Ag, she's written. Lots of U's and G's. What can I do to get through the next few months? Thanks, Joan. Well, Joan, your friend has invited you to be her bridesmaid. She's asked you to be the bridesmaid. That's a really big honour and a kind thing that your friend has done. I'm sure your friend is aware that you and the other bridesmaid aren't best buddies, but your friend clearly thinks that you're a grown-up person. You really have to not be such a diva, I'm sorry to say. I also, when I read that first, I did actually want to say, suck it up, Buttercup, you've been invited to be your friend's bridesmaid. That's a lovely thing. You never know, you might actually get closer to this girl. You might see a different side to her. I don't know, but my sense is you have to recognise this is not about you. This is about your friend's day and your friend wanting to have her two good friends with her on the day. Please just be a loving, accepting person on this day and the lead up to it, getting the bridesmaids' dresses, organising the hen. Listen, we don't have to like everybody we come in contact with, of course we don't. You know, it's not normal to expect to get on with everybody 100% of the time, and that's completely all about being human, that's okay. But please just accept that your friend wants you there. That's a really, really kind thing to be doing, and you just need to get over it, really. Now, of course, a little aside, really, I'm all about teaching clients how to speak up and express themselves honestly and get their needs met and all the rest of it. And there are some times where we do just need to suck it up. And this is one of those occasions, Joan. So I hope you can accept what I'm saying and that you do enjoy being the bridesmaid and you do enjoy the work involved in supporting your friend who's going to be the bride on the day. Just enjoy it and know that it will pass, and you don't have to spend time with this woman after the wedding. And there you are, that's what I'm going to say about that. So do join me again next week. That's all for just now, and I look forward to receiving more of your emails and answering your questions. Thanks very much. Bye.